Welcome back. My name is Walter Merle. This is the Alchemist Nation podcast. We interview real estate investors and educators all across the country looking to learn more how you can earn more and grow your business. If you're a real estate investor, this is the place to check out so you get to the next level. Today, I've got a very unique guest. I'm here with Misty Kosciusko. Did I pronounce that right, Misty?
Close enough. Kosciusko, yes.
Kosciusko. We just practiced this too. Welcome to the show, Misty. How is everything going over there?
It's going well. Thanks, Walter. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. I'm looking forward to learning more about you because I've been working with your husband, and actually he is a phenomenal real estate investor in Fall River. He's looking to expand. He's been doing a lot in our program, but also I know that recently your children found some silver from the coin machines that he had them buy. He had them invested.
Yes.
So it's a really cool story that I get so excited about it. This is my first time I get to actually talk about it. So how did Ken actually, and I know this is about you, but how did Ken actually convince them to go and buy those coin ops?
He kind of actually positioned it as they were like pirates' treasure chests. So it's just perfect for the silver aspect. Because he was just like, oh, it's like pirates booty, like every month, like you get to dig through the treasure and stuff. So it was a cool like sales tactic, because obviously you got to find the, what excites them,
right?
What they want out of it. So
that's pretty amazing. So he and I were having a conversation. We were at a local event, and I told him, I was like, Ken, if you got all these quarters, make sure they're looking for the 1964 or earlier. Those are silver. And he told me, it's like, really? Why not? It's just one more thing to give him to do.
He definitely came home and did, like, I don't even think he came in or ate or anything. He's like, yeah, we're gonna look for the silver.
It is so fascinating. There's nothing more exciting than looking for a silver quarter in a pile of quarters. So when he texted me that he found one, I was like, that's awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see.
So Misty, getting back to reality here, you are kind of a holistic medical person, right? So in the medical world, you actually are a doctor. You actually do have certifications, and I think you were previously in chiropractic. What made you shift? Like, tell us a little bit about medicine, and then why you shifted into where you're at now.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm a functional medicine practitioner. I have my certification. I'm a board certified chiropractic physician. I'm also a clinical nutritionist. I like learning. So I'm a little nerdy. I like to read biochemistry for fun. But other than I said no one ever. I used to tell my patients I had a practice for 9 years, and I would listen to biochemistry lessons on my way to work.
Wow.
Because I loved learning more. I've always had a love for learning. But the reason I got into functional medicine and how I got to where I am now is through my own health struggles. When we had the kids, I was in a practice. I owned New Horizon Chiropractic and Wellness in Rhode Island. And, Ken and I started out, we were going to, events like crazy, getting to the community, helping. And then all of a sudden I had my first daughter, and my health went downhill very fast. So at that time, after I had my daughter and into my second child, I basically struggled to keep my practice alive. Wow. Like I was in such horrible shape. I went back to work after C-sections in like 4 to 6 weeks. I just pushed through so much just to keep the practice alive. And I loved practicing, and I've always had a big interest for natural healthcare for some of the stuff I've struggled with. And, I lost my father when I was 14. So I watched what the healthcare model did in that setting and how it worked, and how it was almost like they reacted to him as if it was lab work and numbers on a sheet versus a human being, and looking at history. And it took them a while to find out what was really going on with him. And they only found out 3 days before he passed. So that was my kind of initial reason for starting this journey. But as I kind of went through my own health problems, I realized, I went to every doctor that I could think of afterwards. I was like, listen, I am exhausted. I mean, the kind of exhausted where you're like, you're tired is tired. You're like, my body feels like, I used to tell Ken that I felt like I was just like Santa carrying like a load of bricks on my back all the time. You know, I had just so many symptoms, and I would just be like trudging through practice, and I'd be like, such a hypocrite because I'd be like popping ibuprofen, and I'd be like, I had sugar addiction, I had all this crazy, symptoms. Um, and so moral of the story, I went to like 4 different doctors, and everybody's like, you're fine. Your numbers look great. You're fine. You just need to lose weight. I'm like, dude, I run like 10 miles a week. You know what I mean? Like this is not like I'm losing like this much of weight
Right.
and I still feel like garbage. Like why do I feel this way? And so I kind of, after my last visit, I just said, you know what, I can't take this anymore. I'm done. I'm looking further into it. And so I started just looking into other options. I ran my own blood work. I ran a ton of panels, found out I had celiac disease, found out I had a multiple parasitic infection in my gut.
Wow.
We had mold toxicity in our bedroom.
Wow.
And then I also had like chronic stress and anxiety because I had actually memories popping up of pretty severe abuse when I was young.
Right.
So, moral of the story again, my niche is now helping trauma survivors and helping them understand, not just how the body, not just how, to medicate and things like that, but a lot of complex health issues and immune issues come from, you know, deeper roots,
Right.
and so for me, it was a multitude of things. So, um, that's kind of what got me here, and it's what I'm passionate about. And I love getting down to the deeper nitty gritty of things when all hope is lost for people.
So it's pretty powerful that you went through this yourself. You're a product of the product, and we find that in life it's all very very similar. And I know that
Mhm.
right now my listeners are wondering, okay, like I haven't heard the word real estate. I heard coin ops in the
Right.
beginning. Haven't heard
Yeah.
real estate yet. Why is Misty on this? It's because
Right.
her husband is a real estate investor, and
Right.
Misty by proxy is a real estate investor. She does a lot of work with him, but the psychology behind every real estate investor, every deal is the same, right? It exists,
Yep.
and everything she just mentioned, depression, trauma, uh, the fact that people hesitate before going and taking action, the health hazards for whatever reason. Every time I'm
Hmm.
about to close on a deal, for some reason I get a cold. I don't know what that's about, but my guess is that I'm thinking about stress. I'm stressed out.
Stress,
I'm concerned,
yeah,
right?
stress and depressed immunity for sure.
100%. And
Yep.
every single time I'm about to close on the deal, I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to wake up. Like I'm just tired. And it's
Yep.
because I'm about to take on something that I know is extreme and it's different from what I've done in the past.
Yeah.
So I think that Misty's got a lot of value for you. So diving back into it, Misty,
Hmm.
what is it that you've seen? And we've got about 10, 15 minutes we can talk
Sure.
about this. So
Yep.
what is it you've seen, maybe even in your own husband, but what is it that causes those symptoms of depression? Even though it's good things, like we know good things are coming,
Yeah.
was that?
So there's a multitude of things there, and you really have to look at health as similar. And this is something I had to teach Ken, and if I hope Ken's okay with, he's had me share his story too, but he has a back end of a lot of different health issues too. So he's had car accidents, he's had migraines, things like that. Um, and so, you know, I've had to teach him that investments don't just go with money, they go with your own health and your body. So, just like some of your stuff that you teach is health, wealth, love, and happiness as well. You gotta put into the health piggy bank. You have to, because what you're doing, and this is something that I teach, with functional medicine, is like you're investing in your body and your future by doing things now.
Right.
So there's, depression can be from, literally it can be from, I've had complications from mold toxicity in their house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Severe depression and anxiety. It can be from trauma, it can be from gut health issues, it can be from mercury toxicity, it can be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And usually there's a multi-level. And right now, for those types of issues, the answers are antidepressants, go exercise, do PT, and that's like it can be from vitamin deficiencies,
Right.
right? But
It can be
that
low
yeah,
testosterone. I have a buddy of mine
yeah,
who
a
just
100%.
he just found out.
Yeah,
He's like, man, I'm depressed. It's like, dude, you're a successful real estate investor. What's your issue? And
yeah,
he's like, yeah, I was low T. I had no clue. Right. I just went to the doctors and
yeah,
I'm back in the game.
yep,
So
yep,
there are things physically that will slow you down on the investment side. And sometimes if
100%.
you're depressed, you could back out of a deal that could be a killer deal, like big
Yeah,
opportunity. So being
yep.
able to analyze. So what's an easy way for somebody to start recognizing that something isn't right, and that maybe the mental symptoms are actually something physical that could be there.
Yeah. That's a great question, and also a really good question for people, especially with right now with COVID.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unnatural type of time. But
Right.
if
Right.
you're one of them is habit change. Habit change. Where are you going towards with your day to day? How are you waking up? What are you eating? Um, it I've seen with Ken, I've seen lack of joy in certain at points where he's gotten depressed, lack of joy within certain things. Tired, lots of fatigue,
Yeah.
things like that. And so sometimes also it's important to understand that the chronic stress, it can be kind of it can be it can happen over time
Yeah.
where it's like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
In the burnout process, like this is really relevant to investors. Like you're trying to get your business off the ground. This is something I struggled with horribly until I figured it out. The burnout and chronic stress and adrenal issues for people who are trying to get a business going and do things the hard way and kind of push through. You try and do everything perfectly. You get stuck in your limiting beliefs. You try and do everything perfectly so you're safe. And you're like,
I,
let me just do it this way.
I can only relate to all of that. That's it. I mean, if I think about it honestly, maybe that's why I'm bald, and maybe it's the chronic stress of building a business.
Yeah.
I mean, most of
There's
that.
a lot to that, right?
A friend of mine, maybe a friend of mine, has that issue. Not me personally.
Yeah. No, never me.
Never me.
But
Never.
but the stress of like trying to do everything yourself and trying to do it perfectly the way you think it should be, not getting help, and then just trying to like wait until it's deemed perfect so it's safe to move forward instead of just taking imperfect action or throughout the way,
Right.
you
Like
know?
aim, ready, fire. No, fire, ready, aim. Right. Like just
Yeah.
do something,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
you'll know
just
either way.
exactly. Yeah. Fear of failure can lead to a lot of exhaustion.
So those are all
So,
symptoms. Those are signs that there's something there. Maybe a change of habit, change of diet. And
yeah.
personally, like, Dorina thinks I'm crazy, but every so often I'm like, yeah, I'm eating donuts again, which means there's something deeper here. I got to
Yeah.
get back.
Yep. It's either like stress, lack of control, and then, adrenal issues that come from chronic stress, like your stress hormones. There's issues where if it goes too long for like amount of time, you're having too much stress hormone, your body starts to actually crave sugar, sweets, things like that. You start to get the 2 o'clock crash. You start to get all those things. You start to get insomnia, and then your sleep wake cycle is off. And
Yeah.
so these all, to be honest, my mentor, when had a mentor for 2 years. He works with some of the top performers in the industry.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that he would say all the time with all of his high performers, like, stop waiting, just take action. Like, even if it's this little piece, you know,
Yeah.
and those little things and just the awareness piece.
I love that. So it's funny that you identify that as high stress and an issue, because I've always said, like, right before I like explode and do something, I go into these sleep cycles where I'm sleeping at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've always
Yep.
looked at it as a strength, but in
Yeah.
reality, it's a sign of something deeper. There's an issue there that I'm
Yeah.
dealing with stress in a manner of I'll just outlive it, right? Instead of sleeping, I'll just overwork this scenario.
Yeah.
So it's not healthy,
pushing
is what you're
through.
saying. Right.
Yeah.
Pushing through.
Yep. Yep.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
writing that one down. Now, this has become a
Yeah.
session for me. So
Uh,
for everybody at home,
but
if
it's
you
common though.
right.
This morning I came downstairs and I was like, okay, Ken, I'm gonna adjust you. I'll give you some celery juice. We'll get you like get on these vitamins or whatever when he's tired. It's like I have like a regimen of like, okay, here we go. This is what you're gonna do to get your performance up.
Well, it makes sense because he's
Yeah.
about to lock down twice the amount of units in one deal that he's ever done before. This is 15 units.
Yeah.
So he's locking down a very big deal, and he's operating and raising capital and doing all the stuff that
Yeah.
is fun in the business. We'll call it fun.
Yeah.
And it's easy once you get good at it, but when it's your first time raising capital or doing these kind of deals,
Yeah.
anybody's bound to think, man, is it gonna go okay? What am I missing?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Like, is this is scary? Like, am I doing it right? Is this gonna fall through? Or yeah, I'm sure all that stuff is going through his mind, even though, but he's just pushing.
And he
Well,
knows the numbers, right? He knows the
Yeah.
numbers. He's focused. He knows what he's doing. And I've
Yeah.
evaluated the deal. He's in a business partner that I have as a business partner, so I know the deal's a good deal. But
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. Like the psychology, the mind still suffers.
Right.
The mind suffers. It was built this way.
Yeah, you're stuck. You can get stuck easily in scarcity to try and move forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Misty, I know that you talked about it earlier. You do have a website, and you do training, you do some coaching, you do some guidance for people.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to do a discounted session for everybody who's listening right now?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Usually, so my website is drmisty.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. And then I have I do virtual health coaching, and for people in Rhode Island, we do lots of lab work, things like that. So if you do reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help you out.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you, you're going to text me after this call the information. I'll put it in the show notes.
Sure.
Also, if you're getting value out of this, hit the thumbs up button. Just go and hit that. It helps with ratings, helps with sharing with other people. Also, if you think that the information that Misty's giving right now is valuable to a family member or another real estate investor share and definitely subscribe, because we do a lot of content like this, or other big syndication investors, a lot of information on the Alchemist Nation podcast. And if you share, it's like you saying thank you. It's also like you saying, I appreciate you, and paying it forward to the next person. If you've gotten any value out of any of these, definitely share. And again, the thumbs up, it doesn't take much effort, but it helps us a lot. So thank you very much for your thumbs up. So Misty, again, it's drmisty.com. Doctor spelled out, Misty.
drmisty.com.
So I messed up on my Facebook ad, so I will change that.
Okay.
So drmisty.com. And if you do contact Misty, tell her Walter sent you, and she'll hook you up with a little discount because we're friends, and that's what friends do. We take care of each other. So,
absolutely.
Misty, where are you going over the next 3 years? Because obviously, Corona has changed everything. You're going to be making some shifts. We've got about 4 minutes left. So,
Sure.
And I do have one other question at the end of this that I want to add value to everybody. But where do you see yourself going in the next 3 years with not necessarily you, but the world, like not the economy, but people's psychology? What are people suffering from right now? Where do you see it going? And what do you think is the best thing that you could do to start correcting that?
So I definitely see in some ways, a growth, emotional growth within the world, as well as in areas like contracture, a lot of scarcity being brought on through, some of the psychology and just some of the areas of the brain that you operate out of fear, So in my mind, I see a potential for in some areas more scarcity, but I think if you can lean into the growth and lean into the creativity, you'll actually, I feel like we're going to get out of this as a collective way better, as a unit. You're going to be getting out of that fear mindset,
I have to agree with you, because what's about to happen is terrifying for most people, right? Like
Yes.
I am not a fear monger at all. I've always been, I've always said, be prepared as if a crash could come, but I do see it. I see the signs, I see it close. So you believe that if we act rationally and we act, and we talk to the right people, get the right coaches, have the right conversations, then we can pull out
Yeah.
positive.
And it's not to, a lot of people have, who knows what's going to happen with the presidency as we speak, right?
Who knows? I
Like
still
it, you're
don't
it's
know.
like, yeah, we're like,
I was
hey, I
told
think,
I'd have an answer last
yeah,
night. I don't know.
it's not anxiety provoking at all.
No, I'm
Um,
good. It's a friend. It's a friend of
yeah,
mine.
but I do feel like not all rationality. I think, validation and emotional intelligence are very key. But I think this is a great opportunity. Like, I was in practice for 9 years and it took me a month and I took a risk and I was like, you know what, this isn't going to be in line with what my goals are in the future. It's not what I want. I know I've built something for 9 years, but I'm going to shift and I'm going to go towards where my heart tells me,
That's awesome.
with my husband. So I'm trying to lean into the creativity,
Yeah.
even though it's kind of it's scary, you
Right.
know.
But
But
what you're doing is so important, right? Like sugar is
yeah,
the enemy here, right? If we're being real, if we said number one evil thing that people consume, it's sugar, and
yeah,
we don't know about it. Like it's a drug that people are addicted to, and it's
yep,
killing them, and like that's got to be one of the things that you're helping people figure out is like we got
yeah.
to get away from this toxic chemical that we're putting on our
Yeah,
bodies.
toxic soup. A lot of it is like lifestyle changes for, understanding how it's not necessarily people's fault. It's almost like how, as a society, you go in other countries and they're like, what the hell is that food? Like, that's not food. That's like a chemical concoction. That's like, what the hell
And
is that?
and when I was in
You
Europe, they
know?
said the same thing. Like I have friends from
Yeah.
Europe come over and they're like, "What is this you guys are
What
eating? No wonder you're all fat. Like this is crazy. This is insanity."
Yeah, because it is. I mean, the
Right.
amount of food dyes and so it's teaching people it's not necessarily their fault. It's how society as a whole has, changed the manufacturing of food or products to make things easier and for a quick buck,
Right.
and it's so there's a lot to that. There's a
And
lot to
I'm all about making money, but it's got to be done morally and ethically.
that.
So
Right.
like
Yeah.
we build real estate, right? We
Yeah.
provide housing. If you're
Right.
feeding people garbage, well, it comes back. There's definitely
Yeah.
an effect that happens. And if you're putting garbage into your body, you're going to pay for it. So
And
as
that's one of the toughest parts is like, and just this last thing, most medical physicians are not taught nutrition.
no,
Ask your doctor if they have to, and it's not to put them, they're taught pharmaceuticals, they're taught reactive,
right.
they're not taught proactive,
It's like a
so
mechanic who understands what gasoline's made out of. Like if they actually understood where
yeah,
gasoline came from, like that'd be shocking, right? Like they
right,
know how to fix the car once it's broken.
right, yeah, it's a difference in training. So it's like when learning about where food come from nowadays is like, oh my god, I never want to eat again.
Right, right.
Like, holy cow,
Yeah, going
so
vegan, and even that, right?
right. Right. Yeah. It's so needless to say, during coronavirus, we got 6 chickens, organic.
Nice. Congratulations.
Lifestyle changes. So,
So,
but yeah,
Misty,
no, I agree.
if you go back to 20-year-old Misty, this is the last question I like to ask, really important. If you can go back to 20-year-old Misty and all the stuff you've been through, all the stuff and you culminate it into three pieces of advice, what three pieces of advice would you give yourself if you were a young 20-year-old just starting out, habits that you create or just information that really move you forward? And the answer can't be go to drmisty.com
Okay.
for better advice. But what three pieces of advice would it be?
Um, Number one piece of advice is trust and love yourself. Trust yourself and love yourself. Um, the second would be keep being you. It's not bad to be compassionate or sensitive. And the other would be step out of toxic situations earlier. You deserve better.
I love that. That's powerful. That
Yeah.
is that is strong for anybody in any business, real estate investors, anybody out there who has a pulse. Those three pieces are a powerful piece of advice. Misty, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. I've got to jump
Yeah.
on to another podcast, but I'd also like to
Great.
extend the invitation for you to do some coaching with us in Alchemist Nation. I do believe
Yeah.
that you're that third step, that extra piece. We've got people who are in crypto, we got people in real estate, we got people in Forex. people who are in mindset, speaking, but we're missing that health piece. And that is part of the full wealth cycle. We talk about it, but to be perfectly honest, we don't know much other than eat healthy stuff and don't eat sugar and exercise often and sleep well. So I think
Yeah.
that we'd add a lot of value to our community. So if you're interested, I already told Ken that I want you in there.
Yeah. Let's definitely talk more. I want to help you guys out.
Very good. Thank
All
you,
right.
Misty.
You're very
This
welcome.
is,
Thanks, Walter.
yeah, you're welcome. This is the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Walter Amarillo. We're a real estate podcast. We focus on your health, wealth, and relationships so that you can get to the next level, build more, build a fortune, and then pass it on to your kids or some sort of heir who's going to run everything for you. Go to GwalterAmarillo.com/live so you can get more access to the 52 weeks to wealth, or you can go to GwalterAmarillo.com and just check out some of the blogs we put out there, some of the freebies. We've got the rental calculator. We've got all sorts of different access to net worth tracking sheets. Things are going to move you forward. It's all a bunch of habits. Cheers to your success. Also, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, because the more people who know about us, the more wealth we create, the more health we create, and the more happiness you're going to have in your life. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best. Later, Misty.